Okay, so we are 3 minutes in, and I will just go ahead and kick off, and we'll have some people join us as we go, and that's okay. So, welcome to 60 Minutes to Sales. You are the second group I have the privilege of sharing this workshop with, and I am super excited to get to present this for you. I know everybody says super excited about everything in business, but it's really true because I really love helping people get get their offers and new courses going in the fastest, most efficient way possible so that you are out there with something to sell and make money from in the shortest amount of time, because that's what we are all here to do, I assume. So, with that said, what if you could send a new offer to your people and make a sale in the first 60 minutes? And you're welcome to keep responding to things in the chat because that makes it fun and exciting for all of us. Would that be kind of cool if you could put something together quickly, say, in the next couple of hours, and then get a sale right after sending it to some people that you know who might want to buy your course? Yes, Cynthia says yes. And I can tell you, I've done this multiple times. I have a suite of courses that I have developed in the way that I am showing you today, and it has been the best thing ever in my business. And I've created a couple tools to make that super easy for you to do as well. So let's make it happen. But first, I asked you where you're visiting from today, but what do you teach? And especially, have you created and sold courses before? This is going to be super helpful for me to know if where everybody's starting at. If you are seasoned pros, you're like, yes, I've created things all over the place, just maybe on different platforms, or I'm new to Experience-Fi and I'm still kind of figuring out the whole course thing. First offer, awesome. Awesome, awesome. And you say, and what you teach is laws of happiness. Well, we need more of that, right? What do you teach? Give everybody a minute to share a little bit. Audition coach for actors. Deb, I felt like you were with us last month. Do I have that wrong? Okay. Eco-friendly living. Okay, cool. So, as usual, we have a variety of people with all kinds of amazing talents and different backgrounds, and it'll be fun if some of you are a little bit more comfortable being on the hot seat. I do have one of those today, so we can kind of work through some of the content with an example, because I know that always helps everybody to see what it looks like. So, the last one, if I could get at least a couple responses, what would you like to get out of today? What did you see in the sales page that made you sign up, that made you want to spend 3 hours on a Saturday, or of course Sunday if you're in Australia, learning this crazy platform? Excellent. Okay. Well, if you're here to develop and sell a course, you're in the right place. Yes. Okay. I love the meeting chat, and what I'm so excited about this is that it's the fastest way. Yes, the easy no-brainer initial offer. Yes, perfect, because that's exactly what this is. And I'm going to give you a lot of the strategy in the very beginning, but then we're also really going to get into the nuts and bolts of how to do it. So after this session, you really can have a paid offer pre-sold and then get paid to create it while learning to use Experienceify for better student engagement and retention, because that's why we use Experienceify, right? Like there are a variety of different course platforms out there. This is one that is like every detail about Experienceify and our methodology is to get your students engaged and excited and taking action and feeling good about themselves so that they keep going and get the results. So you've got the right platform, and then I'm going to give you the tools to just get that course out there and sold really fast. Because the faster you launch, the faster you make course money. And I think that's what we are all here for, is to develop a highly profitable course business, right? So about me, I'm an instructional designer, and I want you to know that I built this entire workshop off of the same tools that you have. So if you're wondering, like, how does it work? What does it look like? What's the finished product look like? What can you do with the tools and with the template that you've been given? This is it. I built everything with what I'm giving you today. And what does it mean to be an instructional designer? That means that I'm highly focused on, when I work with clients, I'm highly focused on what the course promise is and how exactly we achieve that promise. And so it's really a shift from people wanting to kind of think about the thing that they want to teach and doing a brain dump and throwing out all the things they might want to think about, or all the things they could tell somebody about that subject. And instead, we shift that over to how do we make a step-by-step plan to get a specific outcome. So that will also be baked in what we're doing today. So just in case you're wondering, that's what an instructional designer is. That's what I am. And that's kind of how I got here to be teaching you here today. I actually started in the Experience Product Masterclass. If any of you are here from EPM with Experienceify's kind of sister company, Live Your Message, in the fall of 2019, and met some really great people. And I'm super happy to be connected with Experienceify and getting to collaborate with Marie. So that's me. Oh, awesome. Sanjay is currently in APM. I think you're getting kind of close to the end of it. So this should be awesome timing if you're building a course with there. So welcome to Experienceify. And wouldn't it be amazing if a course platform was created by an actual course creator? And of course, that is the reality of it. And I think it's such a huge differentiator between some of the different platforms out there. It's one thing to be a coder. It's another thing to actually be creating and selling the courses and figuring out what all the little things are that make a difference in course sales and in retention of students. And so one of the things that the Experienceify and, as I said, Live Your Message have really developed to a beautiful degree is the experience formula. So how do we keep people having an escalating good experience that keeps them going, rather than a de-escalating death spiral where they start out and they're excited and motivated and it just goes downhill from there. So I will be pointing out those different parts of the experience methodology as we go through today. And how we're going to work today is that you can follow along with me in the planner. And what we're going to do is we're going to outline a new 1-hour workshop for you. And then you can go ahead and set up that course in the course template in your account in Experienceify to pre-sell. And then if you get all that together, you're going to go ahead and send a link out to some people who might be a good audience for you. And what happens is you get the content ready to pre-sell within your Experienceify account, send it out to people, they register for a future workshop that you will deliver once people have signed up and paid, very much like you're doing today. Like you signed up for something that was going to be at a future date, then we get on a Zoom call, we record the Zoom call, and then that is going to be in the course portal for your students as a replay, so they can attend live, they can attend the replay, or they can have the replay for the life of the program. And you have just gotten paid to create it all. So I'm going to give you some links just to make sure that you can access things. I gather there was a link that didn't work, but let me grab the planner for you. Mhm. You guys go ahead and grab the planner and let me know that you're able to get that. And the second link is where you can get the workshop template put in your course. Okay, we've got one thumbs up. I'm excited. Okay, excellent. All righty, so what are you going to get in today's strategy? Because I always love to start off a lesson or a course with what's in it for you? Why should you give me your time and attention for 3 hours today? And because you're going to get business strategy, you're going to get the instructional design that's all baked into it. Like I said, the experience formula is all like completely weaved throughout here. You're going to get templates to help with the content creation, the sales, the communication, and the gamification. And you get, of course, the best gamified platform on the planet. And I should have asked this earlier, but I should be sharing slides right now. Can everybody see my slides? I can't tell you how many times I've gotten through a presentation and I think everybody can see my slides and I haven't shared them. So, okay, it looks like we're all good. And I have mastered the art of sharing on Zoom. Yay. Okay, so let's talk about business strategy because that's such an important part of why the workshop idea, the paid workshop idea, is what it is. And so the whole idea behind that is that your first sale can be super simple. And I know when I started out, one of the things I thought I was going to do was to create a 6-week course. And then I was going to develop all the content ahead of time. And then I was going to go out and sell it. And what ended up happening is that actually, I think it was like a couple of years later, I hadn't created that course. I wasn't making any money in my business. I had multiple little platform charges that were just hitting my credit cards every month without having something for sale for people. And so I ran in all the circles trying to find like, oh, you have to have a social media presence, and oh, I need a better website, and oh, there's this new other platform and everybody's getting on it, and you've got to create a lot of free content. You have to have a brand that looks really good. And come to find out, like, that is way more complicated than it has to be. You can get started and make sales almost immediately with a lower ticket offer that you ramp up quickly. It's a minimum viable product. It's something that you can speak to and your people need. It's valuable for them, and you just get it done and pre-sell it, and you're on your way. And I'm curious, any of what I've talked about, does that resonate with you in terms of like getting stuck trying to create something that it just drags on and gets really frustrating and keeps you from getting out there? Am I the only one? Okay, excellent. We have a couple of yeses. And I like really from the bottom of my heart, this was the thing that changed it all for me. Because I was like, okay, I can outline something, I can send it out to people, I can do that. And then it all kind of shifted from there. So the other big thing about why I love the paid workshop offer is you get to validate your content and your offer. And so what that means is, so if I had gone out and I had created my 6-week course or my 3-month course or my 6-month course, say it was I tried to create something that was all the things, like it would take me a long time to validate that. So by validation, I mean that the content works. So if I say it's going to get X outcome, does it actually get X outcome? And does the offer work? So the people that I know that I want to sell it to, is this an offer they want? And is this an offer they're willing to pay for at that price point? And so with this, I can know the same day pretty much if people want this particular thing from me. Do they want this workshop? Are they willing to pay for it? And if they don't want it and they don't want to pay for it, then I have not invested a lot of time into something that isn't, that there's something not right here. And so either way, I win. I either get people to pay me to create content, or I get to know that something isn't right about this offer, and I get to know it fast. And so I need to, that gives me the opportunity to pivot off of it and do something else. So you can test out new things. And I wanted to point this one because if we've got some experienced course creators out there, you're like, well, I know how to create courses. I don't have a problem with that. But like, what if you want to pivot? What if there's some other aspect of your business that you want to create content about and you're not sure if your current audience likes it? Well, there you go. You just whip up a workshop, put it out for some people, and see how it goes. And the most important thing, and I'm probably going to be super repetitive about this, but it is so, so important to me, is you're getting paid to create. If nobody buys the thing, you don't have to create it. You can if you want to. If you're convinced that it's still the right thing for you to do, you can still show up, record that workshop, and have it as an asset in your business. But you're not spending months or years on an idea that isn't tested and isn't validated. So is that landing for people? Any thoughts or responses to that so far? Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, yeah, so I probably already covered this, but you're not spending a ton of time. There's so much in the beginning of learning to create courses, besides the content. You think it's just the content, but then you're also going to have to learn the marketing and the tech pieces and all the little bits that go with it, the emails, all of those things. And so we just want to simplify it. We don't want to create a bunch of stuff nobody buys. And you also don't want to get stuck in lead generation with no sales. And I'm hopefully everybody is kind of familiar with the idea of lead generation, because you think you have to go out and meet a lot of new people and get an audience to sell to. And if you don't have anything to sell to them, you get in this chicken or the egg. You're like, oh, I need new people, but now I don't have anything to sell to them. This kind of resolves that immediately. Okay. Well, if you're getting stuck in perfectionism, let's see how this works. Because you can, like I said, you just boom, put something together, put it in front of people. Either they buy it and you're good, or you tweak and you do something. But yeah, times are different right now. I'm hearing that from a lot of different course creators, that we really kind of have to be sensitive to what's happening in the world, and by tweaking your offers. And I think it's a really great time to have a low ticket offer like this. I will go over the pricing in a little bit as well, but it's a really easy offer to sell. And I want to be clear what this is not. It is definitely not, I'm not teaching you how to put together a sales webinar. It's not one of those things that's meant to give you like a partial solution for the people in your audience, and then they're supposed to buy up to get a full solution. It is a full solution in itself, but it definitely can lead to another offer. It could lead to your one-on-one services. This could be a way for people to just kind of get to know you. It could be something that you include in a bundle, or you give away if you are speaking at an event. There are so many different ways to use it once it exists. But it is an actual thing in itself. Hopefully that's really clear. I know it's been like a sales webinar has been a technique for a while, Some people are kind of burnt out on that. I'm sure it has its place, but that's not what this is. Okay, so what is it going to take from you? I've kind of told you what I'm going to deliver to you today and what this is going to ask of you. This is the hardest part. You're going to have to settle on one idea that you can teach in an hour. And it needs to be something that really will benefit the sort of people that you want to work with. I want to be really clear on this too. Please think about the people you want to work with, not anybody you think might buy from you, because it's actually going to help you get clear and get more people that really resonate with you that you would like to be working with in your business. This is what this is going to take from you is also you've got to be kind of comfortable with tech skills, because I'm not going to be able to teach a lot of that during the workshop. We actually have quite a bit to do in a short amount of time. And you are going to need to customize your brand elements or just use the defaults. The workshop template is there for you. It's not the cutest thing in the world because it's very hard to do a generic brand look that suits everybody, but all you have to do is go through and change the colors if you have colors. If you just want to go really minimum viable product, keep things really similar to what they are and change some of the text, and off you go. So how to get help. I do have times to get questions during the live session. If for some reason I don't see your message in the chat, then do remind me during the question sessions. I try to be really careful because I can easily get distracted and off topic if I watch the chat too much. And if you're just getting here, it's totally fine. This is going to be recorded. The recording will be up tomorrow, and you can just pop back and pick up the part that you missed. We've been going over strategy, and we are about to move on. But I do want to say too, in addition to the opportunity to ask questions during the live session here, you if you are so inclined and you're like, I just don't know about the tech, I really didn't come this way to do tech, there's a really great offer through Experienceify to have the team there work on your specific things like a VA would, and I think it starts at just a 10-hour package. So if you already have some startup funds and you don't want to faff around with the tech, I think it's a super offer. Okay, questions so far? That is the biggest part of the strategy bit. Does it make sense what the workshop course is? I mean, that's the biggest piece I hope everybody understands, is you are selling something that doesn't exist yet. You're going to have an outline for it. You're going to get ready to schedule it on a future date and let people have a link to the Zoom call for the future date where you are going to show up and deliver it live. And then that's what you're going to sell. Once it exists, you sell the replay. Anybody? I apparently I'm a genius. I have explained everything beautifully, and we are all ready to go. Okay. So we have 4 milestones in the meeting, and I will explain them all to you. And I have to say one other thing, like, you all are doing a beautiful job on the staying muted, because last time we had, you know, when you get like people and there's like stuff happening in their background, it's like stuff. So this is extremely distraction free. Yeah, you know what, guys, if you have to pop in, pop out, life happens, whatever, just grab the replay. And you know, it's just, I also want to say, like, some of you, if you have some of these skills under your belt, you're ready to go, you have an idea, it makes sense, you can pop this out today. And that'll be fantastic, because the sooner you do this, the sooner you can make money off of it. If you're here and you just kind of need to get your feet wet, see how things work, every little bit you get is a win. And that's totally it's totally fantastic. All the tools are still here for you. Of course, I want you to finish, and I would love for you to go make some sales today. I want to tell you that's totally possible. In the last session that we have, it happened. Somebody went out and had their first sale the next day. Oh, I'm supposed to explain the milestones. Okay, number one milestone, your workshop content is planned. So that's just that outline I mentioned. Number two, your welcome content and emails are ready. I actually just flipped this around. It's going to be the second milestone is going to be your offer and sales page are ready. So you're going to know what it is you're going to offer to people. And then you're going to get some welcome content ready. So just like when you guys signed into this workshop, there was a welcome video. There were some things for you to do so that you felt like you were spending money on something that actually exists. And so we're going to have you do that. And milestone number 4, hopefully someone will hit this today, is you make your first sale. Okay, so your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to create and pre-sell a workshop in 7 days or less. Are you in? And I will have my sip of water while we wait. Yes. Awesome. Fantastic. And I am in also to make sure you have what you need to get it done. I love it. Thank you guys. Your enthusiasm is just, it's the best. Okay. Milestone number 1 is your workshop content is planned. So do you guys have access to the planner? I did put that in earlier, but I know some of you might have popped in and sometimes the chat doesn't go back all the way. Let me see if I can grab that again. I need you to shift over to your planner. And we will do this for a minute and then we'll take a little bit of break because I hate to go for too long. A little bit of interesting neuroscience for you for when you are creating courses in the future. The research that I have seen says that people can actively pay attention for about 20 minutes and then your brain just kind of like needs a moment to go process all of that. So let's grab the workshop planner and talk about your perfect person. And then we'll go take a little bit of break so you can work on that. Okay, I'm just gonna take a sip. Again, and especially if you are someone who is neurodivergent. I have a kid who's ADHD. I have tons of clients and friends who are as well. And totally get it. When your attention span just needs to take a break, again, that replay is going to be available to you. All right. So deep breath. We're going to jump in. And I always start my course planning with understanding who this course is for, because it turns out you don't actually teach your subject, you teach people, and your people are going to be at a certain level in terms of their background, their experience, what they already know, what they're ready for, how far they can go with you in one experience. And all of that matters when you're thinking about how you're going to teach them. So I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's worth repeating. When we start with the person, it sounds like a simple shift, but it changes everything about the way that you plan. Because what other people do instead of starting with their person is they start with their content. And when you start with your content, you try to think of everything that could be possibly useful. You feel like that's more valuable because you give more content and you give all the things. And it's really just, instead of being useful, it's just overwhelming. And so what we want to talk about and want to look for is who is it that you would just love to work with? Not who you think will pay you money. We want them to pay you money too. But first, like, you need to really want to work with this person. You need to be like looking for people who will not drive you crazy, who will actually, make you want to be in your business, because your business is a world that you get to create. So make one you want to live in. And so your person, like, what are they doing right now that isn't working related to your topic? and what should they do instead. So for instance, I'll just use me as an example. A lot of my clients come in and they are experienced course creators, and they are planning their courses around their content. They think of all of their expert knowledge about a thing, and then they try to brain dump it and create a lot of content that is not a specific path for people to take. It's not the steps. It's just like, boof, here's everything I know about my thing. And that's what they're doing right now that doesn't work. And what they should do instead is they should think about a person and how to take them a couple steps forward from where they are now. So that's my example. And the people I want to work with, so I specifically like to work with people who really care about their clients. And in course sales, it's not actually everybody. There are some people that think they're just going to like go make a lot of money. And it's amazing because I saw it on this sales webinar somewhere. No, I like people who really care about their clients. They care about getting their clients great results. They feel like this is their life mission, and that the quality of their programs reflects on them personally. And this is like what they're here to do. So those are my people. So as an example, that's me and my person. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to go think about your person and what they're doing and what they should be doing instead. I'm sorry, 5 minutes. I lied, 5 minutes. We'll come back at 40 after. And I want you to, and if you don't have access for some reason to the Google Doc, it's totally fine. Just take a piece of paper and do it that way instead. Just think about who is it you want to work with? What are they doing now? What should they do instead? Alrighty, we will come back at 40 after the hour, whatever hour it is where you are. How we doing? Looks like people are being very industrious. I hate to interrupt, but if anybody wants to share either by chat or unmute and kind of talk about any aha moments that you had. Anybody? Great response from Deb. People who understand the importance, right? They need to value your content for sure, or they're not going to, probably they're not going to pay for it, and then they aren't going to follow up and actually make their plans. And I love how she emphasizes that what these people are caring about is not leaving other people with stress or family conflict. So that's definitely kind of like the angle that is going to work. So that's going to impact both her content and her sales message. Because we can speak to, and I'm sure she's got some interesting stories too about what happens in terms of stress and family conflict when those things are left unattended and people have to figure out later what somebody would have wanted, or there's a power struggle, etc. Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody think about who you don't want to work with? Maybe you want to tell me who they don't want to work with? Great, here's another one. Worried about being more intentional. Okay, bringing into her home that's hazardous. There any levels deeper that you could go? What age? So you said this woman is a mom. So what age are the kids? Might be an interesting angle. So what do you think about that? I'll tell you who I don't want to work with. I don't want to work with people who use a lot of gimmicky, get rich quick types of techniques, who don't care about the quality of anything they sell. And they don't want to work with me, by the way. Like, those people are not going to want to spend money to make their content the best that it can be. Okay. Yeah, Deb has some clarification on who she doesn't want to work with. Yeah, if they want to like suck the life out of you and never do anything, like those are not your people. Yes. Is it Nicola or Nicola?
Nicola.
Nicola, so good to meet you. Thanks for putting your hand up.
So I want to work with people who have ended a relationship and they want to move on but feel kind of still trapped energetically with the ex-partner.
Mm-hmm.
And so these were the aspects that I believe I could help them with. So first of all, I wanted them to be able to feel free, happier, positive, and have peace of mind around the ex. And what they're doing at the moment that doesn't work is probably going around in circles and maybe talking over and over again to their family and friends until their family and friends just don't want to hear anymore. And
I've
then
never done that. Never, ever.
so the processes are to acknowledge that the breakup has happened and that there were some benefits from the relationship existing, even if it was only that they needed to learn the lessons of trusting their gut feelings, valuing themselves more, and having patience.
Okay.
Then second step, revoke anything they promised to or agreed. So some people promise to be with somebody forever. Some people make vows. So actually verbally to revoke everything. And then just to be on the safe side, to revoke anything that they may have agreed to in any past lives, because that's one of my specialities as well, that so they can revoke any promises to be with that person forever from all previous lives. Then to retrieve any of their soul that they may have with that other person, and to give back any of that person's soul, so that then they're spirit or at a soul level disconnected. Then to cut any cords that might exist between them, especially if they're feeling a loss of energy. And then also, because some people, when you're in a relationship with them, they're kind of energetically trapping you or controlling you. So to disconnect by lifting any nets of control and removing any of their thought forms from you, so that you're just free. And I think the phrase that came to mind was washing that person out of my hair. I think it was a phrase that they used to use in the past.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of outcome.
Okay.
So just to really get it all out. And so I'm now.
So so that actually sounds probably bigger than the 1 hour workshop, but I love the clarity on all of it. And so your person is going to be at an early stage of the breakup, and I'm still very enmeshed in the whole process. And so you're going to think about one thing that you can give them in 60 minutes, one tool that you can give them, experience that you can take them through in that 60 minutes, that's going to provide, it's probably almost like your party trick, right? Like it's the thing that works for everybody, or most people, I shouldn't say. Like some people need very hands-on, one-on-one kinds of stuff, but those aren't your people who should be in your workshop. Those are people who should just work with you one-on-one. But most people, this is going to give them such a huge benefit in a short amount of time, and they're going to be thrilled with the outcome from it. It's got a clear outcome, and and then you're of course welcome to make them an offer at the end of it to go to your bigger program, your one-on-one, your coaching group, your whatever those things are.
Okay. I'll have to think about which of those would be the most appropriate to start then.
Awesome. Was that helpful for everyone else? I love doing this when we get different use cases, so people can see kind of what that looks like. Audition. So Will's going to do audition book rehab workshop. This is very fascinating. Do you want to say more about that? Going. Okay. We have one more. Awesome. So before we leave this one, I just wanted to ask again, does it bring any clarity to talk about who you don't want to work with? So like, for instance, Fernando, I bet you there's quite a few people that you don't want to work with if they're suffering from chronic pain, but they're looking for the magic bullet. Give me a pill, make it all go away tomorrow. Like those probably aren't your people. If they like for everybody, like maybe kind of a universal that somebody else brought up too, is you don't want energy vampires, right? If they want to come into your world and talk and never do anything. Those people. So, think about that from the variety of angles. Like, where are they in their journey? Are they willing to do things about it? Are they willing to pay for it? Because yes, that's an important part too. Like, if these people would otherwise need your help, but can't, do that exchange of value with you for your time, then maybe there's a different solution for them than the workshop, because this one is a paid workshop. Okay. Shifting. Thank you so much. I see this comment about how to do that in 1 hour, and we are going to definitely get into that in the next session. So check back with me if we haven't covered it there. So I do have a question. You're welcome to ask your question. I just got a direct message. If there's this would be actually just a fine time to do a little bit of a recap, because we've been here for a minute. So yes, go ahead and ask a question if you have it. And
hi, Laura. May I ask?
Yes.
Hi. I help widows learn how to date and find love again. And I'd like to run a webinar, but I'd like to ask you about the fine line of providing too much value on a webinar or workshop.
Okay.
And I joined late, and I'm not sure if this is an appropriate question at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a good time. We can recap a little bit before we kind of move on to the outline. We're good. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just curious what, how much value to provide in an hour's time without providing, too much value. Can you comment on that, please?
I think of it in terms more of a complete solution than too much value. So you think about this as a gateway into working with you. And so what's a first experience of working with you that's going to get the most lift for most people? Because it's so, what we want is a way into your business. It's an easy yes. It's a lower price point. It gives people that sense of who you are and what it's like to work with you, that can lead to them wanting to buy all the rest of your things and become super fans, because it's actually much harder to get somebody from a lead to a paid customer than it is to take a paid customer who likes your stuff to buy more. Like, we want the bigger lifetime value from the customers. So the experience should be like one complete solution, if you can, as much of a solution as you can. Like, some of these things, like, we don't get over a breakup in a day or 60 minutes, but there could be an aspect of it where we like now have a practice. For instance, I'm just making stuff up, this isn't her content, but I'm just like saying, like, maybe this could be a thing, like a practice that we go to whenever we're feeling swamped by feelings of the breakup, that I now have, that's in my toolkit anytime I need it. And it only took me 60 minutes to both understand the strategy of it and the process of it, and then to actually implement it and have the experience of it all in that 60 minutes. Yes, people do not have a very long attention span, but it's, if you can think of something, and usually I think of these things as, if you can get a couple of people in mind that you have helped in the past, and like, what if this person were sitting in front of you, you would probably know right away, like, oh, this is a thing that we could do next with you, and you'd get a significant help, relief, outcome in a very short amount of time. Is that helpful?
It is. Now I have to hone in on something that that would be appropriate and meet that.
Yeah, and no, thank you for asking the question because it's so important as we start to getting into an outline. The other thing that I would say is if it's hard to nail one down right now, it's perfectly okay just to think of something and to use it as an exercise. And as you go through it, if you're like, this probably isn't the right one, then it's okay because at least you have been, um, using the process, and you can use the process on anything else. And you get a lot more clarity just by kind of getting down in the weeds with one idea, even if it's not the perfect idea. And sometimes I would even say, like, if you're looking for the killer idea, it puts a lot of pressure on you that people need to buy it and have to get it right. If you pick one that you're like, yeah, it's pretty good, and you just try out all of the ideas, the process, getting it into experience by all of those things, take the pressure off it. This is just going to be fun. You've got a quick thing. You're going to try it and be fun and playful and experimental with it, and see what happens.
Thank you. And that's exactly some of the coaching that I give for widows and dating again.
Okay. There you
To approach it without attachment, to be fun and experimental, not with the expectation. So, and that's what I'm learning through EPM as well, that iteration process.
Fantastic.
Thank
Another EPM. Yay. EPM grad here. Okay. Let's do this. Can we take a 3-minute break and come back at 00? Just take a quick 3-minute break. Everybody go stand up, walk around, get some blood back in the limbs, and then we will launch into the outline. Because if you can leave today with an outline, huge win. Big, big, big win. Okay, I will see you in a couple minutes. Okay, it is time to keep moving. And I love that we just had kind of an opportunity to get into an example of what that can look like as you go to write your outline. This is probably the hardest thing today, is that the ideas part of it. What can you help someone do in just 1 hour? And really focus on how can you have them, and it might like not sound big to do one thing in 1 hour, but it really is, because it's fine to throw a lot of strategies or information at people. But if you can have them get that whole experience of going through it, kind of like we talked about a little bit with the example, if you slow down and not just teach the concepts, but give examples, and then if possible, have them have time to kind of go through something and get feedback on it. If it's appropriate, there's different things that are useful in different workshops, but you'd be surprised. I think one thing well done that's a great experience that they feel happy about is better than 10 different strategies that never get used, or they're just like, oh, that's kind of a good idea, but they never go to apply it for themselves and are not really sure what that would look like anyways. So with that clarification, what's the thing that you can do? You can get an outcome for somebody in just 1 hour that is going to be significant to whatever they're currently experiencing that they don't want, they don't like. And then what's the outcome of doing this thing the way that you teach it? And sometimes what's really fun, if you're kind of stuck on this idea, is if you think about other people who teach your thing that you really hate the way they teach your thing. Like, think about what other people do. You're like, that's horrible. Never do that. So for me, like, I've given you the example of, like, I have been in and around these like $2,000 course creation programs that tell you to go brain dump. And I'm like, no, don't. That's the horrible advice. Don't tell people to do that, because you're going to end up with the kitchen sink course, and nobody wants that. So if you think about something like that, what's something that you see out there that's advice that you hate? Sometimes that gives you clarity and like, oh no, my way. This is it. This is the way that you're going to have so much better results if you do it this way. And then you're going to go into what are the steps to do it, because that's super important. Break it down. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an extra aside. Once you come up with the steps, and we're not going to do this today, get someone who's kind of like your audience and show them the steps and see if they can do it. Because sometimes as an expert, you fill in a lot of gaps that a novice would not see. And then the next piece is, what do they need to do after they learn from you to anchor the learning or do the thing? And this is super, super important. And I keep emphasizing this, but there's a reason. It's not just the ideas, it's not just the strategies that help people. It's making sure they actually go out and do it and build as much of a path for them to get it done. So the steps are definitely going to help, but it's also like giving those examples, showing how people have done it in the past. If there's a couple different varieties of your thing, then give the most common examples of how it could look. It doesn't have to be all the examples, but for instance, if you're doing this end of life planning, right, you probably have people who have large families or small families, or families where there's a lot of conflict. So if you've got a couple of different scenarios that would explain, that would cover most of the people in your audience, try to include those as worked examples. So it's like, in terms of your hour, like if you've got an hour for it, you can do like 10 minutes, getting people kind of warmed up, feeling comfortable, feeling good, looking at a future vision of themselves in a better place because of this thing. Then you've got the meat of what it is you're teaching, and then you can take like a whole half an hour if necessary to do the implementation step of it. Implementation, one good thing implemented is worth all kinds of stuff that they never think about again. So is there anybody that kind of wants to work through that, or would you guys just kind of prefer to go wrestle with it? What questions do you have? Like, I know I'm just kind of like, okay, go do the outline part, but this is also like, this is your expertise. Would you like the hot seat, Cynthia?
Yes. Yes, I
Do it.
would.
Okay. So tell me about your person.
Okay, so she is a woman, a mother
Mhm,
with kids that are under 10. She's
mhm,
busy, she's working, she's also married, and she is concerned. She's got worries about making sure that she protects her kids in the home. And she's interested in health conscious products, services, and practices.
okay. Is there a problem with what's happening right now that she doesn't like?
Well, she and her husband, I just did some market research, so I'm speaking to a specific person who is concerned about allergens in their home, and they are open and curious
Mhm.
about low tox living and eco-friendly products, and they're just untrusting of brands, and they want to make some changes and switches in their life so that they can, as she said, I don't want my kids to be touching things and eating things and wearing things that could potentially cause some issues, in terms of medical issues. And so they're somewhat knowledgeable.
Mhm.
They know that they want to make some changes, but they're just not sure where to start.
Okay. And without your help, what would they be doing?
Well, guessing and putting it on the back burner and being concerned about themselves being a good steward or a good mom and making an effort and wanting to make an effort, but procrastinating and not actually getting there
Why aren't they getting there?
because they're not sure where to start, and they're not sure, they haven't had time to do the research to find out
Mhm.
what they should be doing, but they think that they know they should be doing something to help protect their family.
Okay. What's the first thing if I was your potential client, if I was somebody you would love to work with, and I came to you and I said, I have young kids in my house, and I know, I mean, I've been hearing all this stuff, and I like there's Instagram things, and I know there's toxic stuff on my in my house, and it's probably impacting my kids, but I don't know what to do. What would you have me do first?
An audit.
Okay.
I'd want them to do a home audit and kind of virtually
Mhm,
walk them through, maybe have them choose one area of their home
mhm,
and walk them through. And that's the part I'm kind of lost at. How do I show them or share that with them
mhm.
what it is that they have and make them feel comfortable enough to know, well, don't throw everything out. Don't feel like you got to do all this. But what one thing can I leave with them so that they can start looking at it differently?
What's the biggest quick win you've had with clients doing this?
Well, I'm just starting and I'm still doing research on it and getting feedback from, I've talked to probably 10, 15 women over the last month or two.
Okay.
And, they're worried, but they're not doing anything about it, but they know that they want to, and they know that they probably should. Um, and they're guessing about what they're doing and what they're bringing into their home that might be safe or not. And they're concerned about what hazards could be making them feel a certain way. One was like, I know I've heard something about how, some of the things that are in plastics or other products could actually affect your hormonal system. So there's concerns that they have for their health and well-being.
So you have a short amount of time. The couple of different ways that you could go is, since this is newer for you, what's the thing you feel most comfortable teaching on? That would be one way that you could go. A next one would be, what's the easiest switches for people to make for them to identify? Or a third way could go like, what's the area of most concern? So if you're like, oh my gosh, you need to get in the bathroom right away and switch out those products, like,
Mhm.
and then making that up because it's all over your house. But yeah, do either of those three ways kind of sound most compelling to you?
Yes. Well, after I did the research with the different women,
Mhm.
one was concerned about cleaning products more than anything else. The other one was concerned about beauty products and personal care products. And so I left after all of those interviews. I left thinking I can't do one thing. I mean, I'm doing one thing in terms of helping them understand what it means to live a toxic-free life, but their concerns are kind of in different areas of their home.
Mhm.
So I thought about how can I share one thing with all the different concerns in mind that would help them all? Or do I just pick one, tell them to pick one room and help that person with that room, and then another one that's concerned about the nursery, help with that part of the house? And so that's where my dilemma has come in.
So I think your dilemma is actually a beautiful business model because, let's say you ramp up one of these workshop um, courses quickly and you decide, like, I feel really strong starting with the bathroom. Let's,
Hmm.
do a 1 hour inventory of your bathroom, and then I'm going to show you the top 5 swaps that I would make today uh,
Okay.
in the bathroom. And so then, next week it's the nursery, or, next month, I mean, you can set up a series of 6 months to kind of go through, and they're just so easy to ramp up the workshop courses. You make a series out of it, and then you have a whole suite of products to sell, depending on where
Okay.
somebody's at.
Okay. So I guess just one area at a time.
Just grab one. Yeah, that's why
Okay.
for you, I think, because you're saying you're newer at this, and it's wonderful that you've done your market research, but like, what's going to give you confidence?
Okay.
The area where you're like, you both feel compelled to get this information to people, and you feel really confident, like, when I show up to teach this thing, like, I'm going to feel really solid.
Okay. I think that really helps me to kind of narrow my squirrely brain right now and pick one. And I think I'll pick the textiles, because I have a background in design and fabrics. And so that kind of covers pretty much the whole house. So, clothing, linen, and the such. So I think maybe I'll go there.
Yes, you're also talking to someone who took Tesla rocks on the airplane last week, so look at it.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right,
Okay,
Lord. Thank you.
you are so welcome. Okay, guys, does that help kind of make things clear for you too? Like some of the things that you would think about before you go to create your outline? Any questions for me? I'm feeling confident. Okay, did the hot seat. Okay, well, in lieu of somebody putting up their hand or needing some more specific guidance, let's go ahead and take 15 minutes. Again, focus on that person that you want to help, get somebody really clear in your mind. And yeah, I mean, you can see the things on the slide, but we just really talk through all of it. So, oh yes, go ahead and ask a question, and then we will walk off for some more time.
I think one of the things that comes to my mind that widows and widowers wonder if they're ready to begin dating again.
Yes.
And so this is, I think a lot of them are seeking permission to date again, but also to look for green lights or something that will help them to identify when the right time is. So I'm not totally sure how to approach this, but that's a concept that I've been working in because that's a topic where I wouldn't get into action necessarily on the dating front, which is a much bigger path. But
Right.
to understand if they might be ready, that's something I could potentially tackle.
Okay. I love it because it's such a front door into your business and all of your other offers, right? Once they determine if they're ready. And I assume that you would say that there's a point which they're not ready. Is that true?
Yes, right. Well, that's that's a difficult one because I think that some widows and widowers don't want to deal with the grief and would like to have someone to save them.
Mhm.
So, but the other part of that is by having that relationship and connection, you can grow and find who you are in this process. But yeah, that having a replacement isn't, or seeking a replacement to ease your pain is not the right time.
Right. So my guess is the people that you would be attracting who would be right for this webinar are ready and they're afraid. They're not.
I
And like
think
you're saying, they need that green light. So design, that's why I say person first. So you're going to design this 1 hour experience around someone who actually is ready. And you're going to give them the confidence and you're going to give them some ways to know that they really are ready.
gotcha. Thank
So
you.
if you could come up with like 3 things, like what are 3 things that would tell you that you're ready to date again?
Okay, great. That gives me a basis. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And then to combine that with a worksheet or a process.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so it'd be like if somebody was going to come in and work with you one-on-one, it's probably the process that would just be in your head, but you don't necessarily think of it as your process because you just do it, right? So just kind of spend a minute with it to be like, yeah, this is what I would do if somebody came to me and they were just like feeling worried about it, but really they are ready.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. All righty, let's take 15 minutes. We will come back at 35 after, and I will pop in and out, but I will take a look at the chat. You are welcome to ask me questions in there. And I love that we've had some good examples. So you've had some experience or insight into like how I would break that down. So, okay, off you pop. All righty, we are back. How was that? I need a share. I know it's a challenging part to kind of nail it all down to one idea and the different things, but I definitely want to hear, like, was there an aha moment where you're like, oh, okay, there's that.
Guess I'll start.
Yeah.
I think a real value for me is actually just having the time to put down into steps what I conceptually think it is, and then working through how my audience might react to this and thinking through what will follow on from each step. So that's really valuable for me. So it's one thing brainstorming and having it in my head what might happen, but to put it in as an actual step or strategy, and then considering what might be the evolution of that small module is really effective.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anybody? Okay, we have a much easier to do right now, which is to look on your calendar for a target date to deliver your workshop. That will make it real. And then think about a time that works for your audience. If most of your people are all in one time zone, that should be pretty simple. If your people are all over the world, it's a little more complicated.
I have a question around that, Laura.
Yes.
I live in Australia, but I'm a dual citizen, so I'm often back in the US as well.
Mhm.
So I need to have times that are good for US and which is probably an evening time, US Pacific time or Eastern, and in morning. Is there an ideal time generally for that you recommend?
Honestly, I think that the 12 noon Pacific that this one is at, that is exactly why we chose that. It's what Marisa uses for most of her things as well, just because there some people in Asia that it's difficult for, but pretty much the rest of the world can make that happen. And if you're okay with being, I think you said it was 7 in the morning, or at least it was when we started an hour and 44 minutes ago.
Well, sometimes that's 5 a.m. for me, sometimes it's 4 a.m.
Oh, okay.
I could do a little bit later, like
Yeah.
maybe 2 or, but I don't know if that would work either. People's watch time.
It depends. I mean, it could be on weekends, depending on who your people are. Yeah, we have daylight savings time here. I think there's like 1 week a year where it's wonky for like everybody as well. So that happens. But yeah, you might just survey your audience if you have like a specific group that you're going to talk to and see, or you might just pick a date and just know that if people can't make it, a lot of people do not plan to be there live. It's super helpful to have people live so that you don't feel like you're like speaking into the void and you don't get any feedback on your presentation. But I mean, you can certainly, and some people actually do. We have some people in my world, especially the neurodivergent, get really concerned about having to be there and be healthy and all together at a particular time with audience. So they actually pre-record and then they just deliver it on the date that it's promised as well. So I did want to mention there too, like for some people, the live delivery is a wrinkle they don't want, so you don't have to do it live as well. But yeah, and I think we go back to like experiment, play, see what happens.
I do love the idea of the XP, the experience by expiring mini course, because the viewers will be able to watch or retain the course for life if they watch it within a particular number of days.
Watch it. Yeah. I will tell you, I know Marie has had some wonderful success with that. I've never tried it, and I feel like people would complain if I tried to take their access away after a certain amount of time. But those are all things that you can play with. And you know what? Like if somebody complains, then you can go a different way with it. Or if people are like, yay, I am so glad that you put some time constraints on me so that I would, because that made me get it done.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So hopefully everybody got their date. Anybody? Little thumbs up if you put a date down to deliver your workshop. So now it's like, oh, there's a countdown. I think we've covered questions. Okay, milestone number 2, your offer and sales page are ready. Just one last little, anybody have thoughts or questions? Because we're going to pivot pretty big time from your content to getting an offer ready. Okay, flag me down, otherwise I'm going to keep going. So your offer, what's an offer as opposed to your content? I don't know if any of you are curious about that, but this is how I would explain it. The content is the recorded material. It's the strategies, the steps, etc. The offer is a combination of the price and what is in it. So for instance, if your offer is an evergreen course, they sign up for it, they get the recording, there's no interaction with you, you don't answer questions, that's one offer. A different offer might be that you have monthly office hours and they can connect with you. And that would, of course, probably be a different price point. If there's any live elements, a different offer might be if there's a product that they fill out and return to you as a result of the course. And maybe if they do it in a certain amount of time, they actually get some personalized feedback from you. So for instance, for Cynthia's program, if they do an audit of the textiles in their house and they complete it, maybe it's a Google form and they finish it and they send it back to her, maybe she will, if they send it back to her within 7 days, which is all cool stuff you can do with an Experience-Fy, right? Like she'll give them personalized feedback on some better textiles to choose. Those are all different offers. Those are totally different than the content. The content can be exactly the same in each of those scenarios, but the offer changes. So what we have done for the workshop course to keep it as simple as possible is to pretty much suggest a price for you and suggest an offer for you, but those are definitely other bits that you can change as you like. And I threw out some of the things that I actually do, and I do some of those even with some of my free content, but that depends on you and the lifestyle that you want to have, and what you're willing to do at what price point. So I will go over the price. Let me go back. this is where I talk about the price. So everybody wants to know, how much should I charge for this thing? And does anybody here want to have that question? How much should I charge for this thing? So my answer is, I have varied that depending on my audience. So my first workshop I did ever, when I had an audience of about 300 people, I charged $27 because I knew that if people paid me for it, I would show up, I would create it. And I thought at $27, I would get a fair amount of people who would actually sign up for it. And I did. I got 20 people for my first one. And then I've gone on to sell it as an evergreen since. So with the small audience, say like 100 or less, I would go around the $27 range. If you have maybe a couple hundred people on your list who buy from you currently, then I would go with the 47 range. If you are in the thousands and people regularly buy stuff from you, they already are in that habit of, you know, trusting that your content is going to be super valuable, then I would go with the $97 range. Does anybody have questions about that? The big emphasis, like it can be a little bit of a cash infusion too. Like every time I do these, I make $1,000 to $2,000, which makes me happy. And makes me get it done. But that for me is really the emphasis, is getting it done. And then I go on and I promote these in different places. I put them in bundles. I use them to generate a lot of new leads. Okay, cool. Apparently that does make sense. So as it shows on your offer planner, the suggested offer is live access to the call, Q&A if they show up live, lifetime access to the replay, call transcripts. Call transcripts are, I think they're just a really great best practice. And a lot of the different hosts will actually do them for you now, or the video hosts will do them for you. And I think accessibility is a great best practice, and it's also in some places, depending where you are, it might be required. If there's any worksheets, you would include that in the offer, and I'm suggesting that you add all of these things onto your sales page as well. And yeah, with all of those in one place, you're about ready to go take a look at the sales page. So I think I will pop over to the actual workshop template. Were you guys able to get the workshop template? Do you need that link again? We'll pop it in there and let me switch around my screens because we're about to leave the presentation for just a minute. And let me show you how many people have been in the Experience-By Builder. This is not the template for Canva. This is, I actually built you a course template for a workshop style course. This is how I set them up when I do them for myself, because it's all completely customized to the things that you would say and the way that you would lay out the pages in order to do a workshop, which is actually a little bit different than a traditional course. Okay, so let me start sharing. I will put a new, okay, let me get, so I put the link to Experience-By, I will go through this in just a minute and share my screen. Bear with me just a minute. There we go. Can you see my screen now? I need to get chat back. Why did they take away my chat? Oops. Okay, cool. So in order to do this, you go to copy this template, you put in your email address, and it gets shipped into your Experienceify account. You must have an Experienceify account for this tool. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this is what you should have in your account. This is, I made a copy so that I'm not messing up the copy that you guys get. And let's just kind of go through the different sections, even though this milestone is about getting your sales page done. I do want to kind of show you around the Experienceify platform and interface. So you're going to come in here and change the title, of course, to something that makes sense to you. You can go into Canva and just take the first page of your slide deck and make a nice little thumbnail. The size for these thumbnails, and please just pop comments into the chat if the terms, if you're like Canva, what's Canva, or thumbnail, what's that? I'd be happy to explain those, but you need an image to go here for your workshop. And if you use just a presentation, what might have been in the past, a PowerPoint size slide, it works really well right there. The templates do work with the free accounts. The thing is, you with Experienceify, which this is amazing. I don't know of anybody else that does this. It's free until you launch. So, but in order to launch, you will need to connect a payment processor to it. And in order to put students in it, you will need to get on a paid plan, and you can start at the $49 paid plan at that point, which is such an economical way to go, because one of the things that I'm going to show you here is that you can do this, everything that you need to do this workshop course, all within the tools that Experienceify comes with. So it's a payment processor, it's a sales page, it'll host your videos and be the course platform, and it's got email capabilities. So all of the things that you would need to create, sell, and host this thing are all within Experienceify for the one fee. Whereas like when I started this, I did Teachable, and then I was supposed to get Samcart, and then I went out and got Vimeo and all of the different things. Michelle, I agree with you. I really do believe Experienceify is the best platform out there. So if you did request the template and it's not showing, make sure that the email address that you used is the same one that you use for your Experienceify account, and then you might refresh the page if it's not showing up. And if you still have trouble, then it's probably best to go into the support widget and ask for some help. Okay, so back to the basics. Okay, go away, support widget. And you will go in here, and you don't want to call this workshop template. You're going to call it your thing, and then save that. And I know it sounds simple, but I would totally save that, because otherwise you get some funky name on there that is not what you want. Add your description. You can add the date and time that you deliver it live, because that will show up on the sales page. Your course price, we already went through pricing options right there. I don't do installments on lower ticket stuff. You can if you want to. And course content. So this is interesting. That brings us to step 3, course content. If you were creating a course, you would put some content in here, but we're creating a workshop, so we can just leave step 3 alone altogether. And then we're going to go into customize your course pages. And for purposes of doing the cart, we're going to go down to, oh, cart, where did you go? Oh, you know what? I have to publish it or it's not gonna. There we go. Yeah, I had to make my first slide and now I can see the curve. Don't you love little animations? Okay, now the little animation can stop so I can use my order form. Yay. Okay. Cart order form. So with now we're in the page builder. So this is like the admin console with all the steps on the front side of Experientify. This is the page builder where you can now add all these different sections into the order form. So I turned the order form into a sales page and I added text for you so that all you have to do is come in and change a couple of details, and then you will have a shareable link as soon as you send your trial account to being a live account. You will have a link that you can send out to people so that they can sign up for it. Okay, so this course name, these curly braces always indicate that that's a token. So whatever you put in the course name will just show up there. And you can add your date and time. You can add a little bit of text about what they're doing that's not working right now and how the workshop's going to give them a quick win. The what's included, of course, you're going to change out your image to do something that makes sense for you. But the offer, the way that I showed it to you on your worksheet, possibly this could work for you as well with very minimal type of changes. Then we can explain to people how it works, which is that they're going to purchase it, they're going to sign up for the live call, they're going to attend the live call or get the replay. So all of those sections are set up for you. And you can come into any of these, like edit the content, pick a different color, put your brand color in. All of that will be really simple. And you can make it look very different and on brand for you in just a couple of clicks. So we've got an about your instructor thing, tell them about you, add your picture. There's the order form. Of course, again, put your brand, your colors in there. If you want to add some testimonials, there's a spot to do that. And testimonials will obviously be for other work that you've done because this is brand new. There won't be any testimonials for it yet. If you want to save this for later, just save it to the library. And then delete it because you might not be ready for that yet. And then this is your FAQ section. And you're welcome to go in there. I mean, I think these are the questions that, these are the FAQs I use for my live session. So if you like the way they're written, you can just check them over and make sure that you don't have something significantly different to say. If you do, just go ahead and change them. So that I'm giving a question is the order form the same as the sales landing page? In this case, I have made it to do that so that you do not need to have a website or a separate cart. But if you just want an order form to be an order form, you can trash all of these pages. I just think that as a minimum viable product, I gave you a sales page that's actually included within your Experientify thing. Yes, you should be able to do all of this before making it live. I've always been able to do that, but then I have been in a paid account since early 2020. So yes, thank you for liking my idea on the workaround. I want it to be as simple as possible for people to just come tweak some text, and all the sales text should be relevant to workshops. So you don't have to mess around with a lot of that. You guys are welcome to look in your accounts and make sure you can get to the order form. Because it is meant for you to be able to use that prior to taking a trial account live. And then, can PayPal be used as a payment gateway? I don't think that in the native Experienceify setup that you can, I don't think so. However, I would use the button and ask support about that. How do you open the template after getting into the account? So if you go into your courses section, you should be seeing something that looks like template workshop course. You click on it pretty much anywhere, and you should be able to start modifying. Yes. Thank you for acknowledging the genius of the template. So just so you guys know, like I built all of these and they take me a day or 2 days, and I'm really good at using the builder. So like my gift to you is you should be able to go in and save hours upon hours to get a course ready. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like to your potential customer. And all of these sections, I may be getting ahead of myself just a teeny bit, but I want to show you. So all of these sections, you can customize these. You can have a timer up here. You cannot have a timer up here. That's totally up to you. It's kind of nice to have a countdown to your live session. And then you are welcome to put a video in this spot right here. There's a space for it. Oh, 5 a.m. start. Okay. Sorry to miss everybody who has to leave, but I totally understand. There's a button for mission accomplished. There's another button if you want to add some other kind of button in there. Ways to set the goals. Again, you have an example of that in this, in the 60 minutes to sales that you're enrolled in. So you can see how all of these look. And then you can actually just pop your workshop reply right into this space as soon as it's finished. So, sorry, got a little bit carried away there, but I wanted you to see what the final outcome looks like. And this is where you make it happen in that customize the course pages. You will be able to go into the home and change all of that there. So your sales page is probably your next thing to play with. How many people have access to the sales page in the in your account? People able to go play with that right now? So let me answer this question. It is super easy to change the green. So in edit content, caveat though, it would be lovely if you changed the green in one place and it changed it to your color in every place, but it does not work that way. You will have to go into each section. So if you want this to be dark blue, can you add Calendly? You can add an HTML block. Let me show you. So advanced down here. If I pull, come on now. Go to advanced. HTML. Back, here we go. Ah, we went here for some strange reason. And I edit the content. I enable a snippet. I throw the HTML code from Calendly in there. And yes, you can add Calendly in there. I have used this to do to sell templates. I'm sorry, not this specific thing. I have used Experienceify to sell templates, workshops, full-length courses. People can also set it up to send people as a place to sign up for their one-on-one services. You can do anything. But I don't want to overwhelm people. I just want you to know there's a lot of stuff available to you. But I used it as a landing page. I do not, because at the point where I found Experience by, I already had a website that I like and I want the SEO off of the website. If I were starting again today without having a course business together, I would start with Experience.by as the one thing, use it as my website, use it for all the capabilities, because at $49 a month, it's just it's amazing. People wanted me to sign up for Kajabi for like $200 a month.
Just a question on that. You said if you were starting again,
Mhm.
you that as your web page, is that what you just said?
Yeah, I would. So there's a marketplace that you can use. So I would totally just use this as a link where I sent people to learn more about my business. And because the page builder allows you to put in any kind of link that you want, I can do things that look like web pages, even if they're not. And yeah, before I went to the hassle of trying to create a website before I was really clear on what my business was all about, I would just use this as a thing that I sent people to.
That's great. Thank you very much.
$49 a month is not extra to the lifetime access. If you guys got your trial account and you got the offer to do a lifetime deal, then that's all you pay anymore, unless you want to do like the app stuff. I think that's a simple cost. But those are all good things, questions for support. Like, I'm not always up to date on all this side of things because, as I mentioned, I was like one of the first buyers for Experience by, and I bought it back in the day. And okay, so that's the sales page. Let me kind of check in where we are with the sales page, and the rest of the things that we have to do. So you will need to go in there and change out all of those sections of the sales page to suit you. But I mean, you could do that probably in less than an hour. Significantly less if writing is kind of your thing, which is pretty fast to get all of this together. So I think I will leave you to do that on your own. Is there anybody have any more like kind of technical questions about how the builder works before I leave that? It's got a little bit of a learning curve, but there's so much you can do with it. It's really a flexible tool that does a lot. Okay, let me show you then, and just pop questions in the chat if you have them, but let me kind of show you around the emails as well, because that's super fun. So let me recap just a little bit. You have, hopefully, an outline for what you're going to teach in an hour. You've got a course name, and you can just decide 27, 47, 97, depending on the size of your audience and whether or not they buy from you already. You don't need to create course content. You're going to go in and create a sales page for people, because that's going to give you a shareable link, and then you can go right out and start asking people if they want to buy it. Okay, so that's where we are so far. Let me answer this question. Are the blocks movable and customizable? Yes and yes. So they're little up and down arrows. If I wanted the what's included to be down below the here's how it works, each of these will move. And then I edit the layout for the buttons here. I can make the columns different widths. I can add different elements to them. If you're new to Experience.by, it's probably best for you to just kind of roll with it the way that it is and change the edit content. So you change up the colors, you change up the text. So in this column 1, all the elements in the column are inside that little hamburger menu. You just go into the headline, make my text whatever it needs to be, close it up, save it, off we go. Okay. So that's where we are in terms of, at this point, if you've got everything, you would have a shareable link that you could send to people. You'd have you know what you're going to teach. You have your offer finished and put together. You have a shareable link to send out to people so that you can invite them to pay. And then if you're for what type of pages the toggle make page publicly visible works, I'm not sure. Ask support about that one. I think that's meant so that if you really wanted to, you could make it like a website. Like
Laura, I think if you click the page settings on the top,
uh-huh.
yeah, see there?
Yeah.
There was a toggle here that says make page publicly visible.
I don't know. I don't use it.
Okay, no worries.
Ask support. Rachel and Susan, they're amazing. Okay. So that said, let me show you some of the other things that are in here. So this add the secret sauce. That's why I'm so excited for you guys. So there is a celebration. There's a mission accomplished. You can turn it on or off. If you want to change things around, you just open the celebration builder. It already says first name. You don't have to mess with that at all. If you want to say some other thing, you're good. If you want the any of the images to be different, you can play with all that. If you don't like it, you're like, you know what, my topic is very serious. We're talking about estate planning here. They don't want little, cha-chings and flashy things. You can turn that all off. And so when user is added to this course, they of course need a welcome email. There's a pre-written welcome email for you. Yay! I hate writing emails. So it's generic enough. You could use it just as it is. It's got the magic link in there, and the magic link is truly magic because nobody likes to go as a first experience with a new course, having to go create a username and a password and dig for it in their email. So the magic link Experience5 just pops them right into the course with no friction, and the magic link gets them back anytime. And one thing I want to tell you, in your course emails, the biggest things that's impacted course completion for my clients and for me is to put the magic link in every email. You'd be surprised. Make it easy for people to get back in there. So there's another email that says the workshop is tomorrow. There's another email that says the workshop is in an hour. All these are pre-written for you. Another email that says the replay is ready. Customize those, turn them on. Thank me for saving you hours of time trying to be creative with emails. And there is, if they click on the mission accomplished, there's a tag and they can get an email. It says, yay, you're amazing. And those are done. So you don't have to worry about all of those right now. The thing that is super important is when you're getting ready to share a link with people for a course that's ready for them to buy, you want a little bit of welcome content in there. So I would advise you to go into the home, and we'll get into how to create like a little welcome message in just a minute, because that's where the Canva template comes in for you. They want to see that it's going to be a thing. Like nobody wants to pay for something and be like, okay, nothing happened. Did I get anything? Does it exist really? So we're going to start on that in just a minute. And it's super important though that you have the homepage looking ready, and a welcome email set up. And that's all you have to do for now to get the thing ready to send out to people and sold. Okay. Here's the thing. We are at 2:20, and if anybody wants to take like a little bit of a 5-minute break and walk around and get some blood flowing, I promise to take about four minutes to talk about Thrive Cart Learn. If you want to stay and hear what I have to say about Thrive Cart Learn, I'm happy to tell you about that. And then we will kind of finish up with your welcome content, and then we will maybe even finish a little bit early with you guys all ready to go sell this thing. Okay, so yeah, like I said, welcome to go off camera, pop off, get a drink, move around, whatever. But I do, I'm happy to talk about Thrive Cart Learn. So I purchased Thrive Cart. I have a number of business friends who use Thrive Cart Learn. Let me tell you what I think about it. And this is, so we haven't talked about my whole professional history here, but I've worked for 3 software companies right now, and ThriveCart makes me nervous because their lifetime deal sounds amazing when you only want to pay for it once, but it also means that whatever money you paid once is gone by the time they need to pay for somebody to offer you customer service, to do quality assurance when they roll out new features, to have a security team who makes sure that the app stays secure and you don't have, you know, phishing or attacks that attempt to take down the whole platform. There's just a ton of things that like a good solid business plan provides to you on the other end of it. And if you've been around and like listening to what's happening in the Thrive Cart circles right now, like people have had a very bumpy ride. And so I would much rather, this is, you know, this is again, like Laura's personal philosophy on these things. I would rather have an amazing course business that's out there making money to reinvest in good technology that I believe in. Even though I know the deal seems amazing with ThriveCart, but it's been my experience as their user for their cart software. I've never used their Learn platform. I've been in it as a student because I go into bundles and get other people's things. I don't like the user experience as well. It's just fine. It's a place to hold content. It's fine. It does the job. But the other thing that people hate as students at the time that I'm telling you this is that their credentialing system, you have to create a new username and password for every account on ThriveCart Learn, and it frequently it's like it's just not working right. So you're trying to get into your course and you can't, and there's a lot of friction there. So I mean, I wouldn't use it. I'm happy to. I still pay for gamifying, and I think it's worth it. So that is my personal thing. Yeah, you know what? Like it'll get the job done. And you know, depending on what your budget is, then you know it might be a way that you want to go with it. There's some nice things about having the direct integration with the cart. I personally have had more trouble with it than I think is worth it. And you know, you guys do whatever is best for you. Like I said, my philosophy is always how do I make money rather than like how do I get all my expenses down to the bare minimum. So that's what I think about it. And you are super welcome. And yeah, for various reasons I use the cart, but I don't use them. Okay, that did take me 4 minutes, just as promised. And most of you appeared to be hanging on. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let me get my bearings too. So I want you guys to go in and take a look at the sales page, the home page, the mission accomplished, and celebrations in there, and that should all be on your checklist. And then that brings us to your welcome experience. So when you finished the milestone number 3, that means your welcome content and your emails are all ready. Let me pop in the Canva template link that I did actually update before we started. So I think a couple of you looked for it earlier and I didn't have the permissions set right. Can you guys check and see if this gives you the welcome script? Anybody? I'm ready for more water. Okay, super cool. You are going to go through and I'm going to, yes, it should have the word button on there. So I recommend that you do, there we go. That you do create a little welcome video if you can. And I have sent you to Canva because I think they have done like a fantastic job. Even on the free account, you should be able to use this template on the free account and just pop in the different sections. And then there is a place to record directly in Canva. And it makes life super easy. It outputs a video file that you can upload directly to Experientify. And then just stick that on the home page and you are ready to go. So I think the welcome experience is a huge part of the student experience for a buyer. We want somebody to come in, buy, get into the course platform right away, get excited about the content that they see there, get all the preparatory steps ready. Hopefully that all looked good when you got into Experientify for this particular workshop course. And hopefully we've modeled that all well. And so this is a template that I sell in my business, but I give it to you guys. Yeah, I love for you guys to do a little bit of an attention getter, tell people where they can be at the end of this time with you, tell them about you, how the workshop's going to work, what they need to be successful, the key dates or information, and the encouragement. And again, if you look at the welcome video that is in 60 Minutes to Sales, I built that exactly off of the template that you guys have access to. And watch, there's one-to-one correspondence. Those are all the same slides that I gave you. And I'm glad you like my templates. Thank you. Yeah, okay, so it's time for you guys to go off and do for a little bit. Take 10 minutes and complete your welcome message. Alrighty, we will be back at 40 after the hour. I'm gonna pop back in, even though we're a couple minutes early, but yes, I love this. You just go into the present and record. And it's really helpful if you club, then it makes it super easy to start over without having to reset a lot of different things, unlike some of the other tools that I use. So yeah, start recording. Talk over your slides. This is this, that is that, blah, blah, blah. Advance your slides, blah, blah, blah. End the recording. And it's going to give me a nice little downloadable file that I can just take over and pop into Experience Pack. Ta-da! Download button right there. How easy is that? And let me say, I know, like, if there are some people for whom tech is very challenging and it's not easy, and I do not mean to be flip around that, but it doesn't get a whole lot easier. So there. Okay, we are winding down our time together. Let me get back into Canva. Oh, there we go. So how are we doing so far? Any thoughts, ahas? I can go through the homepage next and the instructions for how to do the content, but really the page builder is the page builder. You go through section by section, you open up the content and you customize it to be whatever you want it to be.
Laura, this is an unrelated question to what you just showed.
Okay.
But there was a question previously, I think Deb asked about a CRM function within.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can someone repeat the question? Because I know what I think I have to say about that, but I could use a refresher on what it was.
Find it. It was something about having like a CRM or a database function in lieu of, I'm assuming, a mailer, like a MailerLite or something.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I would not use that. I actually do use MailerLite personally. And I think that's like the next tool that I would add to this. Because Experience.by will give you basic tools at the basic level, which is why I think it's great to get started with it. But as you grow, and MailerLite has a free account. I think I was free until I had like 1,000 people in it. Experience.by does have a student window where you can sort and filter all your different students and see what they're doing. I am not going to show that in here because this will be a recording and that would be people's personal information, like your information. So I'm not gonna do that, but you can reach out and communicate with your students in your course, like the emails that you have been getting from us related to like the workshop starting in an hour. Those were all done in the course. But they're really meant to be triggered around events in the course rather than a broadcast email system. So your MailerLite, for instance, would be more of a broadcast email system to all of your people or segments of your people, where Experience.by is set up to email people when the course is going to start, when they've achieved so many XPs, when the course is over. It's really amazing in being able to respond to what students are doing, but it's not really meant to take the place of an email service provider. So next question is, can the FAQ font be changed? Let's go in there and peek. Most of the fonts everywhere can be changed. Inside buttons should be, let me see. I'm going to share this because I think this is actually a little bit of a workaround. To share. So this is a button right here. What is your refund policy? It's the last one there. So if you click the /, I can go to medium section heading and try to make that a little bit bigger. So it's your refund policy. Medium section heading. Yeah, so it actually wasn't built necessarily with the settings to toggle that, but there's a little bit of a workaround, and it's the /. Okie dokie. Shall we take a look at the homepage? Let's see how we customize all the homepage things. So this is the timer. Do most of you want to use a timer? How do we feel about the timer? Some people feel very icky about time pressure. And some people feel like, yes, I need to know when things are going to happen. So the customized countdown is right here. You can count down to a specific date, or you can make it evergreen. Most of you on your countdown timer, you're just going to want to make it count down to the date that you have chosen, hopefully, to deliver your course. And that's pretty standard calendar picker. Some of the things in this next section down, of course, you want to welcome people. We edit the content in this one column thing. There is space for a video, but there is no video here, so that's why it doesn't show anything. You can put your welcome video right there. You can host it in Experienceify, or you can host it somewhere else. And just drop the embed link there. Complete your goals. Super, super important. Put the link to your Zoom session. If it's on Zoom, there are other platforms out there, but pretty much some people use Zoom. I tend to use that indiscriminately. But yes, that is the huge thing, either in your welcome email or in here or both. Make sure that there is a link to the Zoom session and or the registration for the Zoom session if you're going to do it that way. I like to put that the kind of the payoff for being there live is that you get your questions answered. And you can have people pre-submit them. That's kind of a preference. Some people don't want to get hit up on the spot with questions. So you could actually just require that if you're going to answer questions, they're going to be pre-submitted. That's up to you. And if you want people to introduce themselves, you can ask them to do that. Oh, here's another good one to point out for you. I set up the footer to go to a website. So if you have one, great. If not, take that out. Terms and conditions. I think terms and conditions are super important, and it's a really great idea to get them, as well as being legally required in some spots. And a privacy policy would be another one that you can link to other things down there as you would like, but do take a look at those and make sure that you're comfortable with what everything says down there. I think we've talked about your emails. And that brings us really to the end of the things that you need to do and to create. Let me recap really briefly as best as I can. So you've got your content outlined, so you know what you're going to sell. You have your offer defined, that you have a certain price for which you're going to show up for an hour, deliver the workshop live, give them access to the replay for however long you want to, and any other types of support, office hours, whatever, that's in your offer. You put all of that on your sales page. You have a shareable link from your sales page. You've made sure that your welcome email will fire if someone signs up for your course when they sign up and pay for it. You have your home page customized with a welcome message from you, hopefully a video welcome message, but you can do that as you will. And then you have your Zoom link ready for your participants to sign up for and or attend with your Zoom link. And then after that, you are ready to grab that shareable link and start telling the world about your workshop. And that's how it works. Can the replays be accessed if the course is unpublished? No. Unpublished courses cannot be seen. Okay. Thoughts, questions? Does it feel doable?
Laura, that was so good. Thank you. It feels doable, but it feels like I need another 2 days.
Understood. Yeah, we did make the mission to complete this in 7 days. So there is that. What else have you got? But can you imagine though, like kind of, you got a behind the scenes look at like what it takes to get all of this together with, you know, emails and sales message and some welcome content, et cetera, et cetera. Can you imagine if you tried to start with a 6-month course, which is what a lot of people do when they decide they want to be course creators?
I did that at the beginning. It didn't work. Coming back to basics.
Yep, yep.
This is really good. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And yeah, like once you master these pieces, then the next time you go to create content, it's going to be so much easier. And so that's a really good time to segue into a larger course. And I'm going to pop in the chat. Murray says that I can tell you that I do a 3-week program called Easy Money. It is much like this. It's all of my same materials, templates, teaching style, and advice, like my way of building courses. If anybody's interested in doing that, it helps you build a 21-day course. So like if you get your workshop course nailed and you want to move up to a 21-day course, this is a paid offer, but you are welcome to check that out. And it would include tutorials for Experience5. And oh, thank you. Easy Money is not part of Experience5. It's not part of EPM. It is my program entirely, and it is a paid program. But if you like my teaching style, you are welcome to look at other things that I do. It is, I will put it down there. And let's see, Cynthia, how can you utilize gamification to market your new course? Are you talking about your marketing message or what you're actually doing in the course?
If I may, I was wondering with all these amazing features, how we can let potential clients know that this is a different kind of a program and that these gamification features are part of the program when we're just, you know, marketing and promoting a course, a 1-hour course.
Yeah, that's such a great question, and something I probably don't promote enough. Yeah, I think definitely mentioning how much you know, thought and effort has gone into the student experience there. A lot of the gamification is embedded in just like having an outcome and telling people what they need to do to get to the outcome. So that part in itself is really useful. You've given me something to think about. I probably don't tell people enough that I have a gamified platform, and it's really good. I will show you this is not just a vanity thing. I will show you in Easy Money just for a moment, because I have done the branding, the look and feel of it to a much higher degree than what is in your workshop. And it doesn't take very much, but you can kind of get an idea for what it can look like. Let me get the chat back up so I'm still answering your questions. And okay, so here's the welcome message. I actually did it off the same format as I gave you. I've got my timer going on an evergreen timer. I have full checklists for week to week. The goals are pretty simple, are pretty much what you've seen so far. Pre-action, just want people to get started, feel successful. Milestones, I do let them check off milestones. Next available training, because this is a regular course, there are next available trainings. You don't have that in a workshop because it's different. You asked about Calendly. So come on now, be cute. Thank you. I embed a calendar and have a calendar page, so they can click on these, subscribe to these. There's a resources page, because I'm able to make customized pages in Experienceify. So you can see like the level of branding on this is a different level than your plain vanilla stuff. So hopefully that gives you an idea of like what's possible for you. As you go along, I do include some things for which I'm an affiliate, and then all trainings and all replays, those are pretty standard kind of Experienceify stuff. So am I sharing? I'm not sharing, am I? I am sharing. What am I sharing? Anyway. Wall of video testimonials, should I embed that in the order form? Yes. If you have a whole wall full of testimonials, I just tried to come up with some simple layouts for people to use. Okay, so thank you everyone for the lovely feedback on the time that we've had together. We have a couple of more minutes, but if you guys are good, then you can have minutes back in your day. You're like the crew that hung on until the very end. I think we had about 12, and now we're down to, I'm sorry, we had 20 something, now we're down to 12. So